Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana. Seasons don't really impact my reading or my taste or my mood, but when it comes to fall, I suddenly feel like I want to read something kind of scary. I don't have a lot of experience with reading horror, so I'm not confident enough to call what I want to read horror because maybe I just want something spooky. Problem is that fall is very short. For a mood reader like me, planning to read a specific amount of books during a specific time is laughable, honestly. There are books that I'm almost setting aside because I feel like they would be perfect to read in October. So I went through all of the books in my want to read on Goodreads and I picked 8 books that feel this way to me. Like they would be perfect for October. They are, you know, gothic or dark or mysterious. There's something eerie or spooky about them. So I've decided to commit to reading one book off of this list. I initially scripted this as at least one book, but let's be realistic, one book off of this list in October, and I want you to help me choose it. Let me know in the comments which book you think I should prioritize in October. Let's get to this list. Okay, so we're starting the list with a middle grade book. I don't really read much middle grade. It doesn't usually appeal to me, but this one does. So the book is set in 1665 and we follow Christopher, who is an apprentice to a successful London apothecary, Master Blackthorn, who adopted Christopher from an orphanage. Christopher is very clever and he loves chemistry and doing chemical experiments, deciphering puzzles and reading codes and all of that fun stuff. And when the city's apothecaries are systematically being killed off, it's up to Christopher to figure out who is doing it and to stop it using all his knowledge in puzzle solving and science and code deciphering. You guys, I love codes. Let me show you something. I have this book, it's called Cryptogram a Day Book, and it's literally codes that you need to decipher. I keep it for like special occasions. I love it. Also, one of the reviewers said that it does get pretty dark for a middle grade, so next we're moving to a young adult book, The Bone Weaver's Orchard. I keep forgetting that name. In this book, Charlie is our main character and he's being sent off to a boarding school with his collection of exotic creatures. And at school, he discovers that one by one, students around him are vanishing and the teachers are explaining it away as, you know, he's just run off home. They just don't seem to care. So Charlie, with the help of a gardener and a nurse, decides to explore the dark tunnels under the school and uncover the scandalous secrets that the school holds, and all kinds of creepy stuff happens and it sounds amazing. By the way, if you're looking for a creepy Victorian boarding school with ghosts or with a male-male romance that is fantastic, I highly recommend one of my favorite series, Dark is the Night. Check it out, it's so good. Next is The Lake of Dead Languages. This book has been on my TBR since probably 2017. Is compared to The Secret History a lot, but is very rarely mentioned, which is interesting because it's dark academia and I feel like dark academia is so popular right now that it's kind of weird that I've never heard anyone talk about it. This book follows Jane, who starts working as a Latin teacher in a prestigious private school for girls situated by a lake. So it has lake in the title. She herself left the school 20 years ago after a tragedy. And while she works there, she begins getting cryptic messages from someone claiming that they know exactly what happened 20 years ago. And pages from her long lost diary that she kept 20 years ago are reappearing, revealing secrets. Back then there was a tragedy with several students dying, and in the present time, the deaths are happening again. I'm very intrigued by this one, again because it's compared to Secret History, but also, I mean, just the name, Dead Languages, that's my keyword. I will say the cover is not very autumny though. Slade House is an unusual book to talk about, and reading the reviews and how people describe it is also very peculiar. The door to Slade House appears for one day every 9 years in a brick wall alley, enticing someone to come in, and then they're never heard from again. So there are 5 sections of the book, 9 years apart, each narrated by a person who enters the house, and it tells their story and their experience there. Essentially, it's like a collection of short stories that are connected by a theme, an idea, and of course this house. One of the reviews said it's horror that got its fine share of hallucinations and tricks, very sophisticated language, and very dark myths of an occult. And another one said nightmarish and bizarre. And apparently this book is part of the universe of the book The Bone Clocks, but this one can be read as a standalone, so that's fine. A lot of people describe this book as, you know, bizarre and a little confusing, and I'm very curious to see what actually is happening in this Slade House. Someone even said that it's like a fever dream of Stephen King, which I don't know what that means, but I am very intrigued. Is the Caretakers, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not fully sure why it's on this list. It doesn't say anywhere that it's horror-y or creepy or scary or anything like that, but for some reason in my head this book is creepy, and I wonder if I'm right or not. So we follow Tessa, who is a documentary filmmaker who helps free a man convicted of murder that she believes is wrongly convicted, and after a year after his release, he starts killing again. So her world is breaking down, and meanwhile her mother passes away and then brings her back together with her estranged sister Margot. And together they find out that in the will they are left the family estate, which they did not know existed before. Tessa sees it as a perfect opportunity to hide out while the media is in a frenzy. And she and her sister find out that this estate, which is called the Fallbrook Estate, has not been lived in for years. It's very old and breaking down, but the property is not empty. There are 2 elderly sisters who are the caretakers, and they live in the cottage on that property, and they make sure that the secrets of the estate stay secret. So from what I understood from the reviews, there are 2 plot lines following these 2 pairs of sisters, and in the end they collide into, I don't know, a revelation of all secrets. Next is The Family Plot, a book that is highly recommended by Lianne from Literally Divergent. Lianne loves haunted house books, and she adores this book.
It was just so good. It was super spooky. It had that right mix of paranormal slash is this real going on. If you are looking for a haunted house book and you are new to haunted house books, I would absolutely start here, because like it's scary in that like I want to know what happens thing, and not like I'm turning all of the lights on and I'm closing all of the curtains and I'm putting my back to a wall.
And so I've always had an eye on it, and I was saving it again for the right vibe. Our main character is Dahlia, who is a 30-year-old working for her father's company, where they strip doomed historic properties and sell the furniture and all of those things. And one day an esteemed and aged lady comes to them and offers them the rights to her property. It's not just her property, it's her ancestral home, which is a mansion. For their company, this looks like a gold mine, and Dahlia is the one who oversees this project. However, once they start actually working on the property, they realize that while it is empty, it is far from abandoned. And something lives in this Withrow mansion, and it is angry and lost. I'm actually not sure if I've read any haunted house books before, and I really want to delve into this subgenre and see if it's my thing. Next is Kill Creek. I feel like this book is the most on brand as it takes place on Halloween, so it should be perfect for the Halloween season. So we get introduced to a house, it's called the Finch House in Tennessee, that has had a lot of tragedies happen there. It is known to be haunted, and 4 famous horror authors I invited as part of a publicity stunt to spend a night there. And not just any night, Halloween night. And apparently things happen and they end up regretting their decisions. That's really all I know. It's a pretty simple premise, but it's very intriguing, and I've seen a lot of praise from people who love horror books, which makes me a little nervous because what if this book is too scary for me? Can I handle it? I don't know, but maybe I need this book to really let me know my own, I don't know, boundaries when it comes to horror. We'll see. And last one is Strange Diaries, which is another mystery thriller which is not marketing itself as horror or a scary book or a creepy book. But again, something about this book just screams creepy to me. Our main character is Claire, who is a high school English teacher, and she specializes in the works of a Victorian Gothic writer, R.M. Holland, who is fictional. When one of her colleagues, who is also her good friend, is found dead, a line from this author story, the stranger is left by her body. In fact, the school is housed in the building where he used to live a century ago and where his wife mysteriously died. Oh, and since Claire doesn't feel like she can trust anyone around her, she writes all her fears and theories in her private journal, and then one day notices that someone else has been writing in it as well. So it has 3 POVs. Claire's her 15-year-old daughter who attends the same school that Claire works at, and the detective investigating the case. And I love that it deals with literature, with Gothic literature. And then there is this, you know, Victorian mystery in this old building. It just feels right. And one of the reviews said that it has an eerie feel throughout the whole book, and another one in all caps said, "Great Halloween read." And that's exactly what I want. So these are the 8 books that I picked from my TBR. I will read one of them in October, and I need you guys to tell me which one you think I should prioritize. Let me know in the comments below, and have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.